Saturday Salamat. What's up, Kiko?
Just go and see the world and just show them what it really means to live life golden. Yeah, we're golden, baby girl, we're golden. They're about to see it shine, cause we're golden. They can never break us down.
Hi, maraming salamat for watching us today. This is the Salamat Podcast, the show that brings you appreciation in the smallest things. Every week, we will try to share some goodness to uplift your heart. I'm your host, Coach A, and my co host, Coach P. We will be entertaining you for the next fun hour. So chill back, and the show will start right now. It's another Saturday. Yes, it
It
is.
is.
Fun, fun, fun Saturday. You good, Paul? How are you? How are you doing?
Doing great, man. Lovely Saturday. Another good week. Lots of things to be thankful for. How about you?
I'm really good. I've never felt so much energy in my life. And I think it's because of the 25 push up challenge that I've been doing. So uh, I think it was really great that we did that because I was getting to the point where I was just kind of stagnant. My energy level was pretty low, and then
Oh,
not motivated enough. So that 25 push up, it started out really rough, and you know, on my today is my seventh day. I haven't done it, but yesterday, my sixth day, man, I was on fire. And woke up this morning and I'm no longer sore, and it actually feels great. And my body
yeah.
feels, like it's almost back to normal. So it's good. Good
It's
energy. Good
good.
energy. Yeah.
Good. Cause I think I can relate to that. Like when you said that when you first tried it, it felt sore, but you would feel the difference on the fourth or fifth day, and
Yeah.
then suddenly it becomes like a habit. Plan to continue it up until it becomes a habit daily, to the point where you're not thinking about doing it anymore. Because that was the hardest part for me to start. Like it was not part of my routine. And then doing it, like figuring out what time do I do it, do I do it on the start of the work, after work, or whatever. But like what you said, like F it. Let's just do it, snap it
Yeah.
out of it.
Just fuck it. Just do it. There's nothing wrong to it. You know. And at the same time, I just want to say for those people, you don't have to do the 25 push-up challenge, right?
Oh man,
Just
yeah.
move around, just do something. At the end of the day, you need to build energy. To build energy, you need to, create that movement, so movement translates to energy. So just do it, guys. And you know what? We've got, you know, um, a lot of people tuning in at the same time. I feel that they're not really sharing, so I figure let's incentivize or let's reward people that do share, because there are people that do share our show. So with that, I just want to announce some quick announcements. So month long this June, we'll be giving away some grocery money, and we'll send that immediately via Gcash or PayPal. You get not PayPal, PayMaya. And by the way, this is not sponsored by Gcash or PayMaya, but if both of them are listening and they want to be nice enough to throw in some money to give away, by all means, we'll make this like Kuya Willie, Wawa win, So
Make
um,
it rain.
yeah, so very simple, right? You guys can see it on my where is this? Right? Oh no, right here. Okay, right there.
No,
Yeah. So
here, there.
share us, right? After you share us or like us, let me go back to that. Sorry. Let me go back to that. There. So like us and then share us, and then we'll random pick names that has a share badge, right? geez, I feel like, that those guys on Facebook giving away money, share us, share us. I don't understand that game, by the way. But this one, we just want to make sure that we create a reach, right? Because we want to make sure that we can share our insights, and at the same time, we're bringing in people that has knowledge to be able to share their experiences. So please share us, like us, and get a chance to win. The other one is, let's see here.
Yep.
So, one more. Let me get this out of the way. Hold on, I got it. Oh, there. Okay, so the other one is today. All you have to do to win grocery cash via Gcash or PayMaya, all you have to do is comment on the comment page what you're thankful for, and then make sure that you share this show, right?
Yeah.
So if you're not sharing this show today, then you won't qualify for it. So that's
Yeah.
it. I just want to make that quick reminder there, Paul, and make sure that people are aware that we are here and we want to give some rewards and incentives or benefits or whatever it is that you guys want to call that. So
Yeah.
yeah. So what do you think about that, Paul? Because it's your money that we're giving away.
Oh, was it mine? Now go for it, man. Like share it. Tell us something that you're thankful for today. I think that goes a long way, and yeah, we'll do it. Grocery money's for everyone.
Yeah. So today I just want to talk about it's the start of June. So I just want to talk about today's show. And today's show is really, really important for people to listen in because I think the message is very clear. And what I wanted to really cover more than anything is that the month of June, it's starting to become a little bit better for some, but it's pretty much still unsafe, if you ask me. So I just want to welcome everybody to June. It is the midpoint of the year, but at the same time, it's only the start of the new norm. Feel connected is a topic that's meaningful for many of us during this pandemic, whether it's connecting more deeply with yourself, making time for self care, or even simply connecting with others. Wanting to feel connected in life seems to be the most important focus for a lot of us this year. Now, today's episode, we want to share what connection means to us and why we chose this word for 2020. Now, if you want to create more meaningful connection in your life, I hope you can consider staying on with us for an hour and watch or listen our show because our goal is to provide you insights and inspiration to make it happen. So, Paul, I know that we have a special guest,
We
but
do.
you have the
Very special
pleasure
guest.
to introduce this person.
Yeah. So our very special guest, she's a life coach, a speaker, an online radio host, and a business owner who has committed in helping other people and organizations to see their possibilities and guide them into their highest potential. She's
Nice.
also, like you and I, are enthusiasts for personal development.
I love
Very interesting. Yeah, she's very interesting person. Um, happiness coach. Have you heard of that? Happiness
coaching
coach. I
happiness.
think
Yeah.
coaching happiness, right? So it resonates to me well, and really, I like to pick on her brain today because it connects a lot to the connection that we were talking about earlier about this new pandemic. So please welcome Kathy Reneses. Come on, bring some love, bring some love.
Yay! How's it going, Kathy? How are
Kathy,
you?
Afternoon, guys. Nice to see y'all.
welcome to the show, Kathy.
Good. It's good weekend. Thank you for
Yeah.
having me.
Interesting. Because I was reading some stuff here, and you've got an interesting story coming from a corporate job to having your own business.
Mhm.
Can you tell us more about that? How did you transition from doing corporate job to your own
Uh-huh.
business and doing what you are doing today?
Yeah, well, yeah, sure. Well, it just kind of started when, like you're in high school, you're in college. They kind of drill it into you that, what success looks like being able to work for Fortune 500 companies, and being able to procure maybe like a management position there, et cetera, et cetera. And for a while, I kind of bought into that dream of, yeah, you know what, I'll work for this company, I'll work up the ranks, like that label is everything. But then I realized that it didn't really make me happy. So I really started kind of being a lot more introspective, and really digging into where that unhappiness was coming from. um, and I just realized that what I was doing, although that was what a lot of people were saying that success is supposed to look like, wasn't aligned with me. Like, I didn't really feel that genuine fulfillment of of fulfilling that, just that life purpose, by working a 9 to 5. And although I was making like good money, I felt really empty. And just talking to the people around me, I realized as well na hindi lang ako nag-iisa, like marami kami that was feeling the same way. Um, but a lot of us also kind of felt trapped because we have responsibilities and bills to pay, etc.
Yeah.
So it really took me a while to step into courage and really tell myself that this isn't what I'm happy with. But I do find a lot of joy being with other people and holding space for other people, which is kind of what got me into coaching. And yeah, it just kind of started from there. I just kind of told myself one day, you know what, this is what I want to do. So yeah, I did a lot of research on like what life coaching was. I initially thought it was a lot of like advice giving, which
Yeah.
it wasn't. It really is just a lot of holding space for people and just being able to, but like not to be able to listen to their stories without any judgment and just support them on their journey. And so far, I've been doing it for the past 2 3 years, and I'm loving it.
Ah,
Well, it
well,
sounds like it. I mean, with something like coaching happiness, I mean, who wouldn't love what they're doing, right? And very,
Exactly.
very connected to our topic today. So our topic today is feeling connected or feel connected, right? So just like you've been on quarantine too, right? Like, have you been on lockdown this whole entire time?
Yes.
And so during this
Yes.
time,
I probably like go out. I've got quite, yeah.
yeah. So how many? I'm sorry, there's a little bit lag there, but how often do you go out these days?
Yeah. I probably go out just for a grocery run like once every month, and then aside from that, I rely on delivery guys. So I try to stay in as much as possible because we have no idea what's happening out there. Um, and like even in the grocery runs that I do like every month, I'm just so astonished at just the amount of people that are still outside.
Yeah,
And now we've gone into CQ. I'm kind of telling myself to just really stay indoors because with the increase of people venturing out, it is a bit dangerous. Like I do feel that, like that uneasiness of trying to go back into normal when I feel that we aren't really 100% prepared for it.
okay. I
yeah,
almost
exactly.
felt that there's certain stages on feeling these things. Like, naalala ko when this happened like 2 months ago, first time straight 1 week I wasn't going out. So contained in our house, and then after that you gradually transition from the feeling of being contained to going out once a week, and then you get be with other people, pero nagsususpect ka na, uy, baka mamaya ito ayan, may COVID dito sa area na to or whatever, no. And then after that, from transitioning to once a week going out, now GCQ, you get to see a lot of people, ano na, may gathering na, and you'd see more people being in groceries, more in public places. So I could feel that na it's sometimes it makes me nervous to go out, pero that's stage, eh, no? So I think if somebody could tell people what to expect, what to do, what to feel, and I mean, you can tell them what to do there, but give them a perspective kung ano ba dapat ang feeling ko pag lumalabas ako, no? So I think that's something that's very interesting to know for our viewers also today.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
at the same
it's
time,
it's very stressful, and I think stress. Oh, please go ahead.
no, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
And I was saying, like, yeah, it's very stressful for us because it kind of feels like, like we're kind of going through various stages of trauma, right? So we went into ECQ, and it was very harsh, it was very fast, and people had to adapt to, staying indoors, to working from home. And people keep complaining about how working at home is hard, but I keep telling people that's because you're not really working from home. You're not equipped to work from home, which is why the experience isn't as easy as it should have been. Like, you're in a traumatic experience and you are coping by, bringing work to your home. But I mean, if you don't have the office space for it, if you have kids running around, like, if you can't concentrate because, like, all your relatives are in the same space as you, then it really is difficult. And now, we've, in the span of like the 2.5 months, we've kind of adjusted to it already. Like, we
Mhm.
found our flow, we found the routine, and now, we're changing it up again because we've gone into GCQ, and now it's a whole other new kind of like relearning of, like, okay, like, how early should I wake up to go to work if you're part of the workforce that's required to go to the office, like,
Yeah,
should I bring my car, how do I figure out transportation? So I think, like, that's the general feeling, like, that's just general feeling of just stress, and that general feeling of really, like, wanting answers because, we have just adjusted to ECQ, and now, like, here are new rules again. So, like, what do we do with that?
yeah, and you know what, the way we communicate with one another too had changed. How we connect with people had changed as well. And
Mm.
for me, I think there are pretty much four pillars of being connected. One of which is the community. It's when I say community, the people that you surround yourself with. And throughout this pandemic, we've kind of lost that a little bit, and we've kind of, because we went into isolation, right? And then the other one is the conversation. So our conversation had changed with people, because now it's more about talking about the fears and all that stuff, instead of building meaningful conversation. And then I think the other one, as far as being connected, is compassion. So yeah, a lot of people these days are so judgmental, and they create this like negative connotation around many different things, right? And then lastly, I think one of this is a pretty important pillar when it comes to being connected, is contemplation. And contemplation for me is, it's finding time to be by yourself, to either, journal. When you're younger, you have a diary, right? Write
Oh, I
down how you're feeling, right? And so I still have a diary. It's a man diary now. It's not a kid diary. But, but I
doesn't
mean,
have
so
to lock it
there
anymore.
you go, Paul. You know, but this thing's change, right? This whole thing changed when we went into this quarantine, and so I'm just
Mhm.
curious. So, like, Katie. So, what is it that you do now? What's your new norm? Because now, I'm sure that you still stay in contact with people, but how is that now? I mean, what form? What medium?
Hmm. Well, I'll be honest with you. I'm more of an extroverted introvert. So the ECQ didn't hasn't really affected me that much. Working as a coach, although I don't see my clients face to face anymore, I also do a lot of Zoom sessions naman talaga. Um, and I also run a digital marketing business, and I think that was where most of the kind of education has come in, just educating clients on like how to use Zoom, etc. But I think with what's happening, I've noticed that I've taken a lot more effort to really just check in with friends, especially my extroverted friends who I know are like bouncing off the walls because like they're stuck indoors for 24/7. I think the whole ECQ really was when the introverts just thrived because we could stay quiet at home with our books, like baking, etc. And then all my extroverted friends are kind of like going but I think it's really that just being mindful enough to kind of think about who haven't I checked on today, and maybe I should send them a text, or like who can I reach out on Facebook and on Instagram, and just drop a line and say hi, hello. I really make it a point to, like, I have a list of friends that I know are like super extroverted, that thrive on going out, that are stuck at home. So I make sure that I really check up on them at least like once a week, just to see how they're doing, because it does take a toll like on your mental health as well. I talk to a lot of people, a lot of clients, and depression, like feelings of depression and feelings of anxiety have been on the rise during ECQ. I think because of that general just feeling of helplessness. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but like when ECQ kind of started and people went into lockdown, like social media was just kind of barraging us with all these, like stay productive, like read one book a day, and like do this, and et cetera, et cetera. And it just put so much pressure on people who were already kind of going through the trauma and trying to handle day to day and trying to handle their finances, and then the added pressure of like trying to stay productive and like proving it on social media kind of got to them. And I
Yeah,
think now like we're coming out of it really is, people are starting to realize like they've disconnected from themselves so much, because of these ideas of the people telling them how they should be, like during ECQ, that now like it's a kind of like a new form of shell shock, that, oh, okay, this is like new normal, if that makes sense.
yeah, it
It
does. It does.
does.
And I think that, a lot of people thought that, because they went on quarantine, they're more isolated. But the reality is that it kind of gave them more time to be able to connect with people. It's just that some people
Yeah,
chose not to, and they just kind of hide in their cave. And, like what you said, they just kind of become more introvert at that point. And, depression kind of kicks in most of the time. People don't realize it, but, it kind of kicks in without you knowing it, right? And Facebook is
totally.
probably the biggest platform where everybody can communicate, because the good thing about Facebook is that you not only get to see the person, but you also get to speak with them, right? And at the same time, if you are neither one of those people that like to be seen or heard, you can just type whatever it is that you wanted to say. And in
Mhm.
fact, just looking at the population in the Philippines, there's 107 million people in the Philippines. But at the same time, if you look at Facebook, majority of the people that's in there is actually the Filipinos. So you can,
Oh,
you know,
definitely. Still
yeah,
number one in terms of engagement on Facebook. We have held that crown for the past 10 years. And I don't see ourselves letting go of that anytime soon.
yeah. It's like we were holding the record, or the the position for the text capital of the world, and now we're the
Mm.
Facebook capital of the world. And so there shouldn't be any reason that people should not try to communicate with everybody, and like what you said, check in, right? There's no better way of checking in by,
Mhm.
just saying salamat to someone, right? So if you've never
Totally.
say thank you to someone, go and tell them, hey, salamat for what? Just for being you, for being able to
Yeah.
contact you. Because
Yeah,
otherwise,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I've seen some people where I've sent message and it's just teen zone. They never responded, and just say thank you for acknowledging you. So
Yeah.
that's definitely a
Yeah.
lot.
And that's okay,
Yeah. No,
man. So
totally. Like,
yeah. Go ahead.
mm.
Katie,
No,
go ahead.
I was kind of thinking about like what you guys were saying, and like I realized like when we were kind of in ECQ and talking about Facebook, like there was a lot of like false positivity going around, a lot of fake productivity, like trying to force yourself to do a lot of things since you're indoors and like you have all this time, etc.
Yeah,
And it really kind of promoted that false positivity. So for a lot of people, like looking at their friends going, oh my god, like like he's reading like one book a week, and like he's writing that that memoir or that ebook or whatever. And like the comparison thing comes up where you're like, oh, and here I am, like it's we're 1 month into ECQ and I haven't really done anything with my life. And it just kind of makes me feel sad that I feel so unproductive. And I think that was kind of the general, that like a lot of like what people were feeling
yeah,
until like people started posting about how it's okay not to be okay, and
yeah,
how I think as Filipinos din kasi, like we really have this, we always try to be positive, which is completely fine, of course. But then I think because of that, and this is also one of the reasons why I call my practice coaching happiness, it's just being aware that feeling good and feeling connected by being happy, like that isn't the only route. Like we have a whole spectrum of feelings that we
Yeah.
can use to kind of tap into and be vulnerable with friends with. It doesn't just have to be doesn't just have to be happiness. And I think when people kind of started sharing that, what, like I'm really struggling, it's been 2 months and I haven't done anything and I'm stuck indoors and I feel trapped and I'm struggling. I think that was kind of the tipping point where people just started talking about, yeah, like I'm struggling too, you know
yeah,
and then that kind of opened a whole space of, what, you're right, like it is okay not to be okay, like it doesn't feel like I'm dumping, and I don't have to be super happy all the time. It really is, I think the lesson with ECQ really is about resilience,
Yeah.
wherein we see it happening in parts of the country every now and then, but then we've never really experienced what resilience looked like, like as a community, as a country.
yeah,
And I think that's something that people are starting to learn, that, what, I don't have to put on a fake smile all the time. I can tell people that I'm angry, that I'm frustrated, that I'm disappointed at what's happening. I don't have to keep quiet and keep it in, because that's what's causing the depression. That's what's causing the anxiety. Being honest and being able to have people there to hold space for you, whether your friends or family, I think is really essential in terms of feeling connected, because it's not just feeling connected to other people, but also being connected to your own feelings and what it is that you're going through.
Yeah. I definitely agree on that because um you need to address yourself first prior for you to be able to help out other people, right? If I was watching the show last night, sabi niya, it's actually Oprah Winfrey, and it's about people that she was able to help out by being herself. She was containing herself before and airing shows that are not suitable for her personality. But when she started opening up that, hey, when I was younger, na experience ko to, I was raped din, and then I can connect to your
Mhm.
experiences. I was abused and whatnot, and it was not typical for anyone to air out na, oh, may problema pala ako eh. And but it's it kind surprising. A lot of audience also connected with her and with people saying na, you know what, I experienced the same way, and we're very glad na we could connect with someone like you. So I guess same thing, no. But if you are in that state of mind, Kefi, na you're afraid na, for example, uh, you were told na, oh, you're getting depressed because you're not being able to put out something out there, or you're not being productive. At least you think you're not being productive. I guess my question is, paano, or how can you encourage people to say that it's okay, and to kung introvert ka, how do you encourage them to speak up that, na hindi, you're not okay, or whatever, or your feelings are not good. So how do you, and I
Mhm.
think that's important.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, no, you know what, Paul? I think it really is about understanding just the power of vulnerability, and being able to kind of step into courage, and ask a friend or ask a family member, hey, can you hold space for me today? Like, I'm feeling really sad, can you hold space for me?
Mm-mm.
I think another great tool as well is, if you are, if you don't want to kind of do that, or if you're not ready, another good technique as well is really defining what emotion it is that you're going through, really putting a label to it so you can understand, like what the lesson is. Like I mentioned before, like there is a whole spectrum of human emotion that we go through, but for a lot of us, we just want to focus on the positive, right? We don't realize that all the good, like, the good life lessons are in the emotions that we feel are negative. So let's say, if you feel that you're depressed, to kind of ask yourself, like, am I really depressed, or am I just sad today? Is it really depression ba talaga, or am I just feeling lonely for
Mm-mm.
today? And just be able to sit with that feeling. And it's so important talaga being able to identify what it is that we're going through, because once you can put a label to it, like, number one, you can really find the lesson. So let's say if I say that, oh, you know what, like, I'm really feeling lonely today, so this
Mm,
is my body, my spirit, like, probably telling me that I should reach out and I should connect to somebody. If people aren't reaching out to me, then maybe I should be the first one to do that, because I'm the one that's feeling lonely. I'm the
yeah,
one that's, like, looking for connection.
yeah,
And with being able to identify the feeling, you can release it and you can shift to, a more, I guess, a more positive state of mind, a more resilient state of mind. um and for me, like, yeah, you can do that. You can journal your feelings out, if you're visual and that's how you like to process information. Or, yeah, look for somebody to talk to if you feel that you don't have friends or family that can hold space for you without judgment. I think that's where us coaches come in,
yeah,
right? Like, being
Mm-mm.
able to look for a coach that you can sit with and just say, hey, for this session, is it okay if I just dump, because I'm going through a lot right now, and I just want, to be able to process what it is that I'm going through, so I can move on now from it, because I've been
yeah,
struggling with it for a week. And I think these are the conversations that people don't realize that us coaches do, right?
yeah,
Is to be able to hold that space for people and to be able to maybe help them just identify that feeling, as simple as that. And then, so what are your next steps now that you realize that this is what you're going through? What do you want to do about it?
yeah,
And that simple question can really, like, change somebody's life and do a complete 180.
yeah. And you know what? Pre-COVID, there are many methods into being able to connect with people, right? And so those people that are having those problems, normally what they do is they call up a friend and say, "Hey, do you want? Can we go grab a drink, right? Or can we go watch a movie? Or can we have a coffee?"
Yeah.
And throughout that bonding, they get to really express what they're feeling inside, and then they end it by uh, a hug or a shake hands or just touching their arm, right? And the sense of touch means a lot, right? You don't have to say so many words, but when you give somebody a hug, that is comforting already. But now we're
Hmm.
in this social distancing, right? It's a new norm. So we lost that
Yeah.
touch. So how can we, what's the replacement for touch? Because now we can't touch each other.
Honestly, yeah, like I'll be honest with you, yeah, physical touch is my receiving love language. I'm very tactile with myself as well. So I've been struggling with that, I'll be honest with you. But like for me, like a good kind of, I guess, substitute, I guess, like for me is are my pets. Like I have two
Okay. Yeah.
rescue dogs with me, and they're like it they bring so much comfort. And just them being there, like they sleep on the bed with me, etc. I think that has really helped me really cope, with day to day. And there are four other love languages there aside from physical touch. So even if that might be your kind of like main, I guess, form of receiving love, you can definitely learn to appreciate the other four. You still have quality time, you still have affirmation, you still have acts of service, you still have gifts. Like I have a thing where I don't, like I mentioned, like I run a digital marketing agency. And lately my way of kind of supporting the community is just buying whatever it is they're selling. So mostly it's food. And I give a lot away. I give a lot away to my neighbors because like I can't finish all of that. It's just me in my studio. So I give a lot away to my neighbors and friends. And for me, like that's the connection that
That's
I'm
good.
I'm
Yeah.
starting to appreciate.
Yeah. So it sounds like you kind of built your community there and, within your immediate presence, right? And same time, you still connected with your community, which is good. So I think for everybody, that's something that they got to make sure that they keep intact, right? Now,
Yeah.
inner self, connecting with your inner self, right? So before we go to connecting with your inner self, there is also a question that was raised. And before we answer this question, I do want to plug in uh, something for our viewers. So I know that, your inner self is very important, and there's no better way to kind of start that off by doing yoga. So we are giving away a free 30-minute yoga session. So all you have to do is basically visit the website, and let me just remove this ticker at the bottom there. So all you got to do is visit the website www.globalyogamovement.com, and you get a 30-minute free yoga class. So before you would have to go to a yoga studio, and now you can actually do this within the comfort of your own home. So for you guys that have never tried yoga, this is the best time to try it. If you just want to be able to connect with your inner self and create some, quietness for and stillness, yoga is the best way to probably get yourself started. If you're not flexible, this is the time to basically try it and do it. So just want to plug that in there. So let's go back really quick to that question. So the question, I think this is more for you, Katie. So, how do you know that you're ready to open up and to communicate? How would you know that?
Mm, that's a good question. I think, like, honestly, it really depends on the person, and like who do you want to open up and communicate with, or who do you want to communicate to? But I think it really is kind of asking yourself, you know, am I courageous enough today to be honest with my feelings? I think I think once you have that kind of sense of awareness, and start asking yourself those questions, I think that's a good sign that you're ready to open up and you're ready to communicate, because you're already kind of starting the process with yourself by asking yourself all these powerful questions. And I think from what I'm kind of getting from the question is, you're asking if somebody's ready to open up, to kind of like get a sounding board,
Mhm.
or somebody that will kind of help process those feelings. Um, so I think it's that. It's just being able to step into courage and just really finding that right person. Because not everybody, has that sense of self awareness of, I'm holding space, and really that active, empathetic listening. For a lot of people, like, if I tell you my problems, in most people's heads, it's like, okay, how can I make this about me? Because I need
Yeah.
to be able to relate to this. And then the conversation kind of gets hijacked into, tama, alam mo, ako din. Like, alam mo yun, like your drama, like I get that, pero mas malala yung akin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it really is about finding that right person as well, who has that self-awareness, who has those tools to be able to, have an empathetic, active listening skill, when you try to communicate. And it's something that can totally be learned, and
Yeah.
it's something that we also have to do, in coaching a lot, when we teach people, self-awareness.
Yeah.
So when do you feel that you're ready to open up and communicate? Whenever you say you are.
Yeah. And just to share, I
It's a
mean,
choice.
from my own personal experience, normally when I can't sleep at night and something's really bothering me
Mm.
already, and I know that I'm normally a happy person, and now I'm like just Mr. Grumpy Pants all the time, then that tells me that, I'm ready to communicate whatever it is I'm feeling. But I think the fear that everybody has is, they're scared to just open up to anyone because they're going to be judged, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so my advice for some of those people that fear that, if they don't have anyone close that they can open up to, write a letter, write it down for the meantime, right? And then at the same time, there are like, anonymous hotline, or even, online, that you can actually just, call in and just be heard, and, just say what you're feeling. And sometimes when you just let it out, you know, that kind of helps already. And then that gives you
Yeah.
courage to be able to open up to a family or a friend. So yeah, it's just like anything else, practice, So for me, practice first, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. And then I like what Katie said earlier about, what the coaches do sometimes, like nagiging soundboard tayo ng mga ano, ng mga client or people that we are coaching, right? And I want to switch it around naman. If you are on the other end, the receiving party, Katie brought up a good point wherein wag mo namang i-overpower, wag mo namang i-take over, i-hijack yung emotions the person that's opening up to you. It's okay also not to have the solution to that problem. Sometimes people just need somebody to listen up to them, and maybe if you can't empathize with them, just listen to them, and
yeah,
then be honest about what you're gonna tell them. You don't have to resolve the issue of that person's opening up to you. Just make sure that you're there to listen, and that alone can help them. So kung ikaw yung nasa other end of the line receiving this, the people who are ready to open up, please be mindful of that as well.
yeah, exactly. So, Katie, we're pretty much in the top of the hour here, and so we want to do something different. So the last few minutes, we want to do some rapid question with you, and just give us some short answer, and let's just see how far we go with it.
Okay.
All right. So,
All right.
would you ever break up over a tax because social distancing?
Oh no. No, I think at least a conversation, right? Yeah.
Would you ever quit your job over, using Facebook, announcing it to the world before you actually
No.
submit your resignation?
Definitely not. I think that's just a setup for failure right there.
um, w- would you ever randomly call people and just pick up a conversation?
I have done that, so yes.
Interesting. Paul, how about you? Any rapid questions?
Now, I was thinking of not your clients, but have you had, when was the last time that you had like an hour conversation not from your clients? Did is it still is that still happening now?
Yeah, for sure. Like I did it like last week. So like people message me on coaching happiness, and yeah, sometimes they just have questions. They just want to dump, and when I kind of feel that they just need that person to talk to, I give them a call.
All right. What's your go-to communication form of communication these days?
The still Facebook, definitely.
Still
Facebook.
Facebook. And do
Still Facebook.
you do, do you seen zone people?
Not intentionally. So I have this really bad habit sa gabi. Like I read the message and I intend to reply, but I fall asleep and then nakakalimutan ko na kinabukasan. So like I replied in my head, pero like not the actual message.
All right. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So I just want to say thank you very much. And it's been very enlightening. And these days with a new norm, a lot of people feel very disconnected. But the reality is that being disconnected is a choice. We have all the forms of communication that we can use to be able to reach out to people, and you don't have to physically reach out
Mm.
to them, but make sure that you do check in, like what you said earlier, just checking in with people, seeing how they are. Say thank you to someone that you'd never said thank you to. Say I love you, even though it's just a friendly thing. Those are things that people
Yeah.
can do. So any last message for our viewers?
Well, for me, I just wanted to invite everybody to like check out please coachinghappiness.ph. You can find me on Instagram, on Facebook. That's also the URL to my website. I have a coaching creativepreneurs 6-week group coaching program that's happening on July 4th. And these are for like creatives, like life coaches, accountants, photographers, writers, who are thinking about transitioning their business online. So I take my digital marketing kind of like know-how that I've collected for the past 10 years and put it into that and help you set you up for success, with a solid business plan, branding Bible, and just give you these creative tools to really help you put out your services, find your niche, and just be able to connect with the people that you want to connect with in a genuine, authentic way. So yeah, I think that's about it for me as well. In addition as well, Alexis, to your comment about having that attitude of gratitude, I really love that because it's something that I teach as well for all my clients. They're required to keep a gratitude journal, and I explain it's because that's something that I wish everybody would do, because with when it comes to psychology, we have the neuroplasticity in the brain, wherein we're so trained to look at the negative things in life that we have to really retrain our brain to focus on the things that are going right. And that is so important, especially with this collective trauma that we're going through. So if I were to end it with that, it's just that. Just please, if you were to take anything from this podcast, it's to start your own 3 blessings exercise or your own gratitude journal, and you'll kind of notice how you go from finding it kind of difficult to think throughout the day of, what is it that I'm grateful for, to the point where you're going to be excited when something happens to you, because you're like, okay, I'm going to jot that in my gratitude journal, and I'm going to look at that like 6 months from now, and just remember that experience.
I love it.
So yeah, that's
I love
Yeah.
that's
it.
kind of it for me.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. And you know what? It's been a pleasure, and probably not the last time that we're gonna have you in our show. Definitely, smiles all around. I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. It was spending time with you guys. And, it's fun. And not, people don't know that we just met on Facebook, basically, and just connected there. But it kind of feels like we've been friends for a while now.
Well, see,
I
these
love
days,
it.
there's so many information on Facebook that when you start reading about that person, by the time you connect with them, you pretty much know them already. So,
Yeah.
and that's what basically happened here, and we really do appreciate the insights, the experience that you've shared, and it's very thoughtful. And so for that, we thank you. And until next time, thank you.
Till next time.
Thank
Have a good
you.
day.
Salam.
All right.
Yo,
So
I'm gonna start my three blessings, my three thankfulness first today. First is thank you for number one having her, Katie. I think
yeah.
she was very she brings a lot of insight, especially to to our audience. That's a new perspective. Second is thanks for this podcast. Salamat that we're able to reach out to many people. And then the third one is thanks for the friends that we meet along the way through this journey. So, salamat.
Yes, yes, yes. And you know what? I was very excited and energized with the insights that she had basically shared. And I just
Mhm.
want to do a quick recap. So, let me just hold on one second. Okay. And one more. Let's just get this out of the way. All right. So feel connected in life. So one, community. So community is basically the people that you surround yourself with. How can you build or find more community in life? And with a pandemic, you know there's Facebook, there's Instagram, you name it. There's a lot of people that you can really connect with the same passion that you are interested into. The next one is conversation. This doesn't go away just because we are on lockdown. It doesn't mean that conversation stops, right? So how can you enhance your communication and conversation? And you do this by practicing with people. So whether be it through over the phone or write an email to someone, and make sure that you are being respectful of that conversation. Compassion, so we covered that earlier, very important. So how can you be more compassionate towards yourself and others, right? And so don't be judgmental. And I've heard this before. Filipinos, they could be judgmental. Well, I don't believe that, because I think it's a choice to be judgmental. So you can choose not to be judgmental. You can be honest, right? But just make sure that your honesty is coming from a good place. And then last one is contemplation. So this is what Katie, reflected on towards the end, your attitude towards gratitude. How can you make time for contemplation and quiet moments alone? Why is that important? Well, it's important because you need to be able to understand what's going on with your surrounding, what's happening to you, and that's how you're able to then connect with your inner self. So find time. Start by 5 minutes. Try it. Be quiet. Think about what you're feeling, right? And then grow it. If you can get to about an hour, that's great. Another way is yoga. So, as I told you guys earlier, um, we partnered up with someone. Her name is Atina, and she's actually providing free yoga for 30 minutes. So if this is your first time, go visit the website www.globalyogamovement.com. and we'll post that on our Facebook page as well. And so you can get your free 30-minute yoga. So with that, I just want to make sure that you guys are um walking away with, you know, really good insights as far as managing, how to stay connected, not just, with other people, but also with your inner self. So, right, Paul?
Yeah, couldn't agree more, man. Couldn't agree more.
So before we go, we did say earlier that we are giving away Paul's money. And so I just want to see whether if we can do a random picker, even though it's a clear cut winner. We already know. Let's
We
see.
do, we do. Oh,
Sure.
hey, shout outs
Shit.
to people who have shared, man.
Yeah.
We've got some people who shared already, so thank you very much for doing that.
So are there people that shared? Really?
Yeah,
Let's see.
LJ,
Okay, let's see.
LJ shared it.
Okay, let me.
Who else have shared it?
I'm
Let
gonna
me.
share my screen here really quick. Give me 1 second,
Yeah,
just so that people can see that we're doing this live.
yeah,
All right. Okay. Let me share my screen. Okay. Sharing, sharing, sharing. Okay. Boom. There it is. Okay. Get comments, getting comments, getting comments. Let's get the comments. Yep. Getting it.
yeah.
Okay. Oh, and now we do the raffle. Can you see that, Paul?
Yep, 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 yep.
Yeah. The winner is Joey.
Yay!
All right, Joey, this is how it's gonna work. So, Joey, send us your actually message us your put in a comment. Your do you have Gcash or Pay Maya? Just send us your either Gcash or Pay Maya, then we'll send you your price. It's good for to buy somewhat of a grocery. All right, so and just make sure everybody remember that this month we'll be doing a draw as well. So all you have to do is basically just share
Mm-hmm.
your our page, and after you share, make sure first of all you like us, and then you share us, and then that's it. We'll do a
Consider.
random. Yeah. So any last few thoughts, Paul?
Just make it make it to a point that when people are ready to open up to you, first is you are able to accept them. I know that we talked about being judgmental also. Let's try to be mindful of things and have that gratitude all the way. It goes a long way. It goes a long way. So thanks everyone for tuning in for today, and can wait to see you again next week.
I agree. I agree. And for those people that are at home and that it's already GCQ, please, please, please stay safe, stay sane.
Stay safe.
You don't have to go out. Don't go out. Please don't. Don't do it. Let's not have a second wave. Okay. So for that, I just want to say maraming salamat. Till next Saturday.
Salamat.
All right.
Send your Gcash.
You can feel it in the air, over here, over there. Everybody with their hands up, one heart, one love. We can party every day, every shade, every age. Now and forever, remember, we fit
If you found value in today's show, hit the like button and share with your friends. Make sure to visit our Facebook page, Salamat, to get notifications about our shows. Maraming salamat!
Just like family, we're all family. Coming out of the dark, you begin with a spark to become that bright flame.
If you found value in today's show, hit the like button and share with your friends. Make sure to visit our Facebook page, Salamat, to get notifications about our shows. Maraming salamat!
We fit together oh so perfectly. No limit as far as we can see. We're singing our song in harmony, just like family. We're like family and fit together oh so perfectly. No limit as far